Hello, everyone. We are live. We will be getting started here in just a couple minutes. We're going to blast out this link to everybody real quick through Discord and Twitter, and then we will get things moving. Also, let me just go ahead and apologize in advance. This is the first time I've ever live streamed anything, so this will not be a professional experience, and I apologize. It'll be the best that we can do, though. So bear with us, and we're going to give it just a second. Hubert's here with me now. The page that you are seeing in the live stream for the Perilous Journey is actually live in our docs currently, so feel free to follow along here. If you want to follow along on your own browser, you can do that as well. I'm going to see if I can resize this a little better. Getting there. That's closer. We're going to call that good enough. All right, it is 5 o'clock. We have 182 people. Also, side note, as we go, we're going to be giving a lot of information. It is all referenceable in the docs page as well. However, I am going to be trying to keep an eye on the chat. If you have any questions, feel free to throw them in here. If it's something that we don't answer and I see it, I'll try to ask Hubert at the end. But that's kind of going to be the best setup that we have for questions. So again, apologies. And yes, my voice is back. Thank you. All right. Well, I'm going to say we go ahead and get started. We're up to 275 people listening. No pressure. So today we have Hubert Cumberdale with us, our director of game mechanics, and we're going to be talking about the Perilous Journey, which is essentially, well, actually Hubert's going to talk about that, so never mind. But we're going to be talking about the Perilous Journey, going over the mechanics and kind of the details behind it, what to expect, what you'll see, etc. So Hubert, if you want to go ahead and kick us off.
All right. Well, hey everyone. Let's see. Hopefully there's a sound check, or if someone can say that they can hear me, just to make sure. I know we're kind of doing this in a new way, but I don't know how big of a delay there is between YouTube and.
I believe it's like 15 or 20 seconds. Somebody just said the sound is great. We hear you. Yep, we're good.
Oh, awesome. Okay. Well, hello, welcome everyone. Thank you for being here. So today we're going to talk about all of the details of the Perilous Journey. We did announce this last week at ETH Denver, but kept most of the fine details out of it. There's actually one thing that I forgot to mention that we'll go over as one of the potential, or one of the rewards that you get if your hero survives. In my defense, though, I was distracted by some very active aerobics in the background, so I blame that for that mistake. So we'll get to those details here. Yeah, I guess we'll just go ahead and jump into it. So as has been described before, what the Perilous Journey is an opportunity for heroes to essentially be Columbus in the DeFi Kingdom's realm. Up until this point in the lore, the world got kind of sundered and all of the lands got separated out, and many years passed with no communication between any of the other lands. But in the lore of the story right now, there was one person from Crystal Vale who made it to Serendale and has informed people about it, but he can't really say the exact way of how to get there. And so there's a call out for heroes to go on a journey together to discover what a safe path would be to get to Crystal Vale. So Along the way, there will be some unfortunate events that are going to cause some heroes to not survive that journey, and they will be burned. So that is a new mechanic that we've never done before. It's not something that we're going to be doing very regularly. Burning a hero is a pretty big deal, but we do plan to have potentially other burning mechanics in the future. But we want to make sure anytime that there's any possibility of burning happening, that we give you all the information associated with it, so you can make a informed decision, because there's definitely a risk involved there. So, all right. So that's kind of the lore here. So I guess we'll just get into it, and hopefully I can see. I'm watching the YouTube stream myself here. I guess, Bolin, if you want to scroll down, we can start talking about what are your chances of a given hero to survive. And I'll say right now that there are three factors to it: your hero's level, your hero's rarity, and then your hero's rank. And rank being if it's like a basic class, advanced class, elite, or exalted. That's each one of those as a rank up from the next. So I guess starting out, just going in the flow of this, I kind of jumped ahead. So if what was just displayed there was the timeline for this. So next week on Wednesday is our plan to launch the entry period for the journey. That's going to be going until the 7th of March. At that point, you will no longer be able to submit any further heroes into the Perilous journey, and it'll be kind of a waiting period to see who made it and when they come back. So from the 7th until the 16th is going to be that waiting period, so about 10 days. And on the 16th, you'll be able to do the transactions to see if your heroes survived or died. Then I guess one point about that is we're timing this along with the Crystal Veil launch, and so we do have to kind of put a deadline on some of the rewards. So if you do not claim your heroes or do the transaction to see if they survived or not by 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the 21st of March, we'll have to do a few things and make a few assumptions. So what will happen is you will no longer qualify for the crystal airdrop. That's one of the survival rewards. Instead, you would get the jewel reward as if your hero had died, even if they survived. As well as for the Gen Zero raffle, we're doing 25 Gen Zeros for surviving heroes, as well as 25 Gen Zeros in a raffle for heroes that die along the journey. So for the purposes of this, we are going to say if you do not claim your heroes by the 21st, even if they survive, they will be considered as have died for the raffle. So the tickets you get would go for that raffle instead of the survival one. Generally, I just say that there's a good amount of time between the 16th and the 21st. There's no reason to wait. And there's one other point here, which is the bonus that I didn't mention previously. So this is new information. Is the stat bonus that we're offering to survivors, and that just to make sure that there's down the road no weird exploit that can happen to apply those bonuses, which I'll talk about in a minute. You need to do it by April 4th of this year by 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you don't, then your heroes will no longer be eligible for that bonus. So they're just so you're aware, there are time limits. We will be putting things on the user interface when you're in the game to indicate that. So it should be very clear, but I just want to stress it now. There are going to be some end dates that you need to be aware of, and it generally just be best to do things sooner rather than later. There really is no benefit to waiting, as far as I can see. I would not recommend that. So, okay. So with all of that out of the way, let's go ahead and get down into the survival chances. Let's see. As far as, and that's kind of an interesting delay that I'm watching the YouTube thing too. So trying to keep up and also see it. But where you start out at is, so like a level 1 basic hero is going to have a 35% chance to survive. Right there is the actual formula for your chances. So it's 34 plus the hero's level plus, I'm not even going to say it. It's all there. It's kind of the rarity and rank have a quadratic touch to them. So it's not a linear growth with higher rarity and rank. And you'll see that here in the charts down below. The one other point is that you will be able to send heroes along with Gen Zero heroes. Just because of the importance to the hero ecosystem of Gen Zeros, we're not allowing them to have a chance of death. So what we're going to do with them is we're going to exclude them from most of the rewards that you can get for surviving. There will still be some things that you can get for your Gen Zeros. You'll get the achievements. It's all listed there in that paragraph. And you'll also get a full XP bar for the level that you're at as well. But besides that, what a Gen Zero does for you is provide a plus 3% to your chances. So if you have a level 1 common thief that you're sending, it would have a 38% chance if it's sent with a Gen Zero instead of 35% chance. And that just applies to the whole group that you can send. You can send groups as large as 6 heroes. That's including the Gen Zero. So you could send a Gen Zero plus 5 non-Gen Zeros. You can't send Gen Zeros together. So there's only one plus 3% increase that you can provide to a group of 5. And you can send Gen Zeros on their own if you wish. So those are all the points about the Gen Zeros. Down here, the next thing is the actual chart. So you can see how that equation kind of plays out for a level 1 hero. The chart here there's 3 different tables that the only thing that's different is just the level. And it's not showing all the levels because that's just a lot of extra information that really doesn't matter because it's just a 1% increase per level. And so if your guy's level 6 and he's a common thief, then he'd have a 40% chance, plus the Gen Zero bonus if you have a Gen Zero that you're sending with. And you can see that goes all the way up to like the highest chance would be like a level 10 Mythic Dread Knight, which would have a 92% chance of survival. And that could go all the way up to 95% chance if sent with a Gen Zero. So those are the chances. You can see that, you started at below 50% for the most common heroes, but you can get above 50% for even like a common or a basic rare, like a rare thief could get above 50% if it's level 8 or sent with the Gen Zero at a lower level. So. Okay, so now as for rewards. So the first thing I'll mention is what I had neglected to mention last week, which is the bonus to stats. So all surviving heroes besides Gen Zeros will be eligible for this. And like I said before, you'll be eligible until April 4th. And we're going to have the actual application of this bonus be a visit to the meditation circle, and it'll have a special option to apply this. But basically, you can choose 3 different stats. You can't stack them. And you'll receive a one-time permanent +5 bonus to each of those stats. So kind of like a focus leveling, like 3 levels or more, depending on your luck, to those stats. So that should be pretty significant. Also mentioned this before, but you'll get enough experience for all survivors, including Gen Zeros, to have a full XP bar, so you'll be able to level up when they return. There'll be achievements applied to the heroes and also to your wallet to indicate how many heroes you had survive, and also the hero itself will have a marker to indicate that it is a survivor, and that's important because that'll allow it to have access to a unique quest line that we'll release in the future. Also, we will have a few of the land tournaments will be only accessible to Perilous Journey survivors. So it won't be all of them. It'll be a smaller subset of them, but only those survivors will be able to participate. There is the raffle that I mentioned previously. We'll be doing 25 Crystal Vale Gen Zero heroes, which are, they'll have a new class and other new genes, new appearance genes and whatnot. And same like with what we did with the Serendale Gen Zeros, there will be a minimum of rare in their rarity. So there will be no common or uncommon Gen Zeros. So you'll get raffle tickets to that. And then also we're doing an airdrop of crystal, which the amount of crystal you receive will be based on the quality of the hero as well. So first, just going linearly here, as far as the raffle tickets go, so you get a number of entries based on that equation there. So the hero's level plus 2 times the rarity plus 2 times the rank. And just saying also where rarity, if it's common, that's considered a 0 for the purpose of the equation, and if it's mythic, it's a 4. Same thing with the rank. It's basic rank is 0 and exalted is 3. So if you're trying to figure out how many, I will also note that as I'm going through this, we will in game have all of this information easily available for any hero. You'll be able to select the hero and view all of the parameters about the hero, its survival chances, the rewards you'll get based on what the hero is. So there's no need to dive deep into this if you do not want to. We'll do a lot of the heavy lifting for you. But if you are interested, it is all here in the docs page, and this has all the information for you. And I guess one other point, it's a kind of a common theme that we do, is we try our best to think of the best ways to discourage multi-walleting. And with this, that is no difference here. We're trying to do the same thing. So if you send more than one hero and have more than one hero survive, not counting Gen Zeros, you will receive bonus entries based on the number of raffle tickets that you had, that you would have got without these bonuses. So you take the sum total of all of the raffle tickets you have, you divide that number by 3, round down. That's how many bonus tickets you get, plus the number of heroes that you had survive. So it's a little bit of a complicated formula, but that's what it is. So that you can factor that into your decisions. But also, like how we have done with other raffles, each wallet will only be allowed to receive 1 win. So all other tickets that wallet has will be removed after that point if they win. So, and then as far as the crystal airdrops go, there's just kind of a table that goes along with this, not really a formula. The only thing that's a formula is the level impact, which is you get 1 additional crystal per level that the hero is. But the actual amount, which once we scroll down to the table here, is based off of the and probably we were already scrolled, but I'm working with a delay, so I'm sorry if it seems like I'm a little bit disjointed from the visuals here, but it's based on the median price of heroes of each category. We did some analysis for the past 30 days from the time that we did this analysis. We looked at the median price, and then we used that as kind of a baseline, and then kind of ramped it down a little bit. So it's not that we're paying the median price per survivor. It's less than that, but the amount is proportional relative to the other heroes, in terms of the current market for them. I will note that at least for the Dread Knights, at the time when we did this, we did not have data for legendary or mythic Dread Knights. And so we did some extrapolation to come up with those numbers. So that's just kind of an explanation of where it comes from. But this is the amount of crystal you would receive if your hero survived the journey based on their qualities. And just a note that the intent here is with crystal or with jewel, the cost to summon in Crystal Vale will be the same cost in crystal as it is jewel in Serendale. So if you're summoning 2 Gen Zeros, it costs 60 jewel. It would cost 60 crystal to summon in Crystal Vale. So just to kind of give you a sense of what the value of that is, it should kind of give you a good sense. So and then that's one of all the other, plus all the other rewards I already mentioned. You also would receive this. So except for this does not apply to Gen Zeros. So Okay, and then moving on, I think that's everything for survival rewards. So if instead your hero died, what do we do in that case? So let's see. Again, working with the delay here. All right. So all right. So here's the list. You have the payout in Jewel, which again is going to be based on the same factors: level, rank, and rarity. You'll receive a certain amount of runes based on the level of the hero if they died, and among those runes, depending on the level of the hero, you may receive some moksha runes. Which have not been released in the game up to this point. So people that are level 10 would be able to proceed to the next level afterwards using those moksha runes. After that, also we will be providing enhancement stones and attunement crystals, which will be based on which ones you actually receive is going to be based on the rank and rarity of the hero, and then the stats of your hero as well. So it's kind of like you're getting. For example, if your hero has its highest stat is strength, you would receive enhancement stones and attunement crystals that augment strength. So it's kind of like desynthesizing the hero into its greatest parts in a way. Also, you have, as was mentioned before, we're doing the Gen Zero launch or raffle. It's using the same formula as was mentioned previously. Where there's going to be 25 Gen Zeros. If your heroes died, you'd get that number of raffle tickets as we just mentioned. And if you had multiple heroes that died, you would also get the bonus raffle tickets based on how many you had, using the same formula that was mentioned above. So those are all the rewards. Next down here is just the jewel rewards. You'll notice that it is lower than what you get in Crystal. This was based off of kind of the estimated contribution like a newly summoned hero had to the quest pool, and so that's kind of and it does kind of scale again based off of level, rarity, and rank. Per level, it's a 0.2 jewel increase per level up, and this again, like I said, there's not an actual formula besides just that additional per level bonus. The rest was just based off of the estimated contribution to the quest pool is how that was put together. So, okay, and then let's see. As far as the runes go, we have the rune table, and you can see you'll receive some amount of Shavas runes, and once you get past level 4, you can get 1 or 2 moksha runes per hero. It's just if they get to 4, they get 1. If they get to 8 and above, then they get 2. And so if you have a level 10 hero that doesn't survive, then you get 5 Shavas runes and 2 moksha. So there are those. And then lastly, the next table for the enhancement stones and attunement crystals is a bit dense, but it has to use kind of abbreviations just to make it all fit. But we have a table here that will show basically just based on the rank and rarity of the hero, you'll get that number of enhancement stones and that number of attunement crystals and type as well. So we have lesser attunement crystals and we have lesser enhancement stones, and then we also have regular versions that don't really have, it's not regular enhancement stone, just enhancement stone, kind of borrowing from Diablo 2's naming methodology for their gems there. And we also will have greater versions of them as well, but those are not possible rewards in this. If you're looking at the docs page, you can see a link that will kind of give you a breakdown of what those things do. I'll just say that with enhancement stones, those are used during the summoning process. You can only use 1 per summoning event, and it applies a permanent bonus to the hero's stat that is associated with the stone, and also it increases the primary and secondary growth percentages of that stat as well. So you'll get an immediate bonus, and then over time, as you level up, you'll see that stat increasing more than it would have otherwise. Attunement crystals work differently. Those are used during the level up event. You can use only one per level up event, but unlike the atonement crystals, which we were giving out for kind of addressing bugs that were in the system that have affected heroes, attunement crystals do not have like a one use per hero permanent thing that atonement crystals have. So you could potentially use an attunement crystal on the same hero every level if you wanted to. And what those do is they increase the chance of a given stat to increase both on the primary roll and on the secondary roll. So if you were to use them more than one, over the course of time, you'd see, more bonuses than you would if you just use it once. But because it is increasing a chance, it's also possible that the crystal, if it rolls bad, you wouldn't see an effect from a crystal as well. So there's kind of a risk associated with that. And because there is that risk, you will be getting more attunement crystals than you do enhancement stones. And yeah, kind of just based on the table down below, you can kind of see, I can kind of see a little bit. By the time things match up, you might already all be there. But and sorry, I keep bringing this up. It's difficult for me to talk to it when I can't see it. So. And thank you, Bolin, for doing this. Like, this is all Bolin's controlling it, so.
No problem. Could I add a quick note real quick, actually, Hubert, as well? On the attunement crystals, the atonement crystal that has been airdropped in the past is a type of attunement crystal. The atonement crystals can only be used once. Like, a hero can only have one atonement crystal of each type used on it in its life, unlike other attunement crystals. So just to clarify that.
Right. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. So those atonement crystals, they were special, and they're addressing specific problems that occurred in our code that affected heroes, and they're doing things that attunement crystals, as just the standard form of what an attunement crystal is, they're doing something that's different than that. And so if we did allow it to be stacked per level, we could have some very unbalanced heroes in existence. So that's kind of why we're doing it that way. But yeah, these attunement crystals, because what they're doing is really just increasing your chances of a stat up. We have no intention to limit how, it's only limited by the number of levels that your hero can achieve. So, and yeah, you can see here that basically it follows a pretty standard pattern. There is kind of a legend on the left to kind of tell you what those are, because I did use abbreviations on everything just to make it all fit in a smaller table. But for basic rank and advanced rank heroes that die, you'll be looking at the lesser versions of enhancement stones and attunement crystals. And then if you have an elite or exalted hero that dies, you'd be looking at the regular version of those stones and crystals. And then the amount you get is based on, for basic, it's just based on, the amount you get is what's shown there. So you'll get, 2, if it's a rare thief that died, you'd get 2 lesser enhancement stones and 7 lesser attunement crystals. It would look at the highest stat of that hero. So if it was agility for a thief, then you'd get 2 lesser enhancement stones that augment agility, plus 7 that lesser attunement crystals that also do that same thing that we described. Where if you take a step up from there, like the advanced rank, you would actually get you'd get twice as many as you would if it was a basic, and the second set that you get is based on the second highest stat of that hero. And then that same pattern repeats again when you go from elite to exalted, except you're dealing with the regular versions of those stones and crystals instead. So hopefully that makes sense. It's probably the hardest thing to describe, but really if you just look at what kind of hero you're sending, you can look at this table and it'll tell you exactly what you would get in terms of stones and crystal rewards. And there is also an example there just to help with that as well. And I think after that, I'm not sure that there's anything else here. There's the last little part of this page is just re-explaining the same thing for the raffle entries as was described previously. So I'm not really going to go into that. I don't know, Bolin, if there's anything else down below. I think that covers everything.
Yep, that's everything on this page. Did you want to jump to either the enhancement or the attunement crystal page, or are those pretty covered in the description you already did?
No, we can go into it. Let's go ahead and give all the numbers. Let's fill everyone's brains with so many numbers, and they'll remember all of them, I'm sure. So,
We'll do enhancement first.
okay, so the enhancement stones, those are going to, the lesser versions will give you a +4 permanent bonus to the stat that it's associated with. It also will give you increase the chance for growth on the primary version by 3%. So if it was like an 80% chance, it would be 83%. And then it also increases the secondary growth chance by 5%. So if you were at like 15% chance, it would now be 20% chance on the secondary. Those are the names of all the things. So you'll notice that we did use names that aren't directly the same. So it's not a lesser strength stone, it's a lesser might stone. But it is thematically, like a synonym to the stat that it's enhancing. And we also have chaos stones, which we have airdropped to some people already. Those will be not rewarded during this event, but those are another type of stone that exists, and those just select a random stat and apply the same bonus as if it was one of these other ones. So it's just a random stat. So there's a little bit of a gamble there to hope that it aligns with the stat that you want. So those are those. When you go to the regular versions, it changes to a +6 bonus to the stat immediately. And then, let's see, I believe it's +5% bonus to the primary stat, and then +13% to the secondary. And the reason for that it's not like a direct doubling is just because on the primary side, there are some stats that are close to 100%. If we boosted that too much, you'd run into scenarios where actually the stone would not help you as much because you'd be above 100% and you'd kind of miss out on some of that bonus. So instead, we shift a lot of that over to the secondary growth. So you should see more increases on the secondary side than you normally would. Plus, you get that +6 immediate bonus as well. And yep, that's kind of we have the same pattern as before. It's just they're not the lesser versions of the regular versions. So. And then I guess moving on to the attunement crystals, those have for the lesser versions, they will increase your chance for the primary growth to occur by a 5% increase. And then on the secondary side, it's 15%. So overall, 20% increase. If you were to use these every level as just an example, you could expect on average to, like by level 100, have 20 more in stat points than you would have if you didn't use them. And the effect is essentially doubled with the regular versions. So instead of 5% and 15%, it's a 10% and 30% for primary and secondary respectively. And this also follows the same naming convention as was shown before. We're just, instead of stone, it's a crystal. And I think that basically covers it. And like I said, we do have greater versions that are going to be in the game as well. They're just not being rewarded in this event, but there will be ways to get them in the game eventually. And those ones are going to be, the best version of the crystals that you can get, or the stones. So
awesome.
And I think that covers everything. So.
Yeah, a couple notes I wanted to just throw out there real quick. Yes, once your heroes are signed up, you will not be able to quest them or use anything or do anything else with them. You can't summon with them. Once they're signed up, they are in the smart contract for Perilous Journey until they either die or survive. If they survive, you collect them, and then you're able to quest, summon, etc. with them. One thing I feel like has been mentioned a couple times, but kind of just mentioned while moving through it, is there are going to be unique quests only accessible to heroes that survive the Perilous Journey. So that's something that personally I'm really excited about because I like quest lines. But there's going to be we're working on many like in-game markers for cards, and one of those would be something to indicate a hero that survived the perilous journey. There are also some that are at the hero level, some at the wallet level, so all those details will be released as they're ready, but there will be unique quest lines as well. So not all of the rewards are just the material rewards like what we talked about here. There will be ongoing rewards for it as well. Aside from that, the whole intention of Perilous Journey is to be charting the path to the new realm, and just kind of a really fun way for people to be able to decide if it's worth risking their NFT for it or not. We've tried to make sure that the rewards are there and that the rewards can merit that risk. And it all comes down to your hero. It was mentioned in chat. I don't remember if Hubert mentioned it. Sorry, Hubert, but it will actually show you in the UI of the game when you go to sign your hero up what their reward chances look like. And then Hubert did mention, but I just want to repeat, the only benefit to sending heroes in a group is if that group has a Gen 0 with them, because the Gen 0 will boost the survival chances of each hero in that group. However, the odds are always individual. So every hero has its own chance of living or dying. Even if it's in a group with other heroes, each hero gets its own role. The only difference is if there's a Gen 0 in that group, it has an extra 3% on that role.
Yeah, and I guess I'll just reiterate one thing. With the groups, one thing about that is just convenience rather than having to send one hero at a time. And the other thing is that there is no limit to the number of groups you can send. So if you want to send a bunch of heroes, you are free to do so. It's up to you. So don't think of it as just a single group of 6 is the max you can send.
I'm glad you mentioned that because I meant to and I forgot. And then the only other thing I was going to throw out there is no, we have not given a date for the actual Crystal Veil launch yet. It is coming very soon. There's going to be a date. There's going to be information for it. Nobody's going to get blindsided. You're not going to be left in the dark. We have a tentative date, but we are making sure that it works prior to announcing it. So stay patient on that, but it's right around the corner. It's very soon. Hubert, anything else you wanted to add?
No, I mean, if there's any questions that we want to answer, I'm seeing some questions in the chat that I could just jump in and answer right now. But if there were any ones that you want to bring up, we could do a quick little QA.
Those were kind of the main ones that I had caught, but yeah, if you see any, feel free.
Let's see. I guess there was one question about the LAN tournaments. That's kind of a little bit. It's a different topic, but it is related since we are going to have the ones that only Perilous Journey survivors can join, and that is those tournaments right now are a one hero entry system, so you don't need to have a team to participate in the tournaments.
That is good to know. Perilous Journey is open for about 10 days from the last day to sign up until the first day to collect, but there are 5 days to sign up, so it just depends on when you sign up as far as how long it is. No, there's not a limit on how many heroes you can send. A place to see dead heroes, actually, we were just talking about that today. We agree that would be really cool, so it is something that we were discussing and kind of working on. As far as the quests for the survivors of the Perilous Journey, not that I know of in terms of them risking burning for the surviving quests. It's everything we've talked about so far has just been a unique quest line that only those heroes have access to, but we don't have finalized details on that either, so I don't want to tell you the wrong thing.
Yeah, I will say that very unlikely that there would be burning involved for that quest line.
Yeah. Let's see. No questing, no summoning. Once you sign your hero up for Perilous Journey, they are in the Perilous Journey smart contract. They are inaccessible until the end of the Perilous Journey, assuming they survive. Otherwise, they're permanently inaccessible because they died.
Yeah, you can think of the contract, the smart contract, as an escrow, kind of like how the tavern, when you put a hero up for sale, the tavern takes ownership of it. It's going to be kind of a similar thing here. So the contract will be able to send any heroes that die to the burn address, and yeah, so definitely, if you're wanting to do questing with your hero, you can wait until the last day. But we just want to make sure that if someone's going on a trip or something, you're not going to have access to their wallet or whatever. You have a window of time where you can submit, starting on the 2nd until 2 p.m. Eastern time on
Yes.
the 7th. So.
Yeah, there's no difference in terms of Perilous Journey as far as when you sign your heroes up, but not everybody is able to sign into DFK every day. So we just want to make sure that people have time to do it when it's convenient for them and be able to participate. The stones would not be available for use from the start on Crystal Vale because Crystal Vale is going to follow a similar roadmap to Sarandale, so there won't be heroes immediately available in Crystal Vale. Like summoning won't be immediately available, but the stones would be available in would be usable. Usable in Sarandale as well. The stones, like the runes, the enhancement stones, attunement crystals, those aren't Crystal Vale specific, unless I'm mistaken, which if I am, Hubert, feel free.
No, I think that's, yeah, I think you're correct there. Eventually, if you hold on to those stones and crystals long enough, once we get those features on Crystal Vale, you would be able to use them there. You'd have to bridge it over, but you could. And so that's, yeah, you're correct. I did see another question come up about the deadline for the stat bonus. So it's you don't have to actually do it as a level up transaction. It'll be a different thing that the esoteric wanderer at the meditation circle will offer to people that have heroes that are eligible for the bonus. So you just need to go and talk to them and select the hero that you want to apply the bonus to, select the 3 stats that you want to apply the bonus to, and then click submit, and it will do that for you. And then it will mark that hero as no longer being eligible for a bonus in the future, for that bonus. So you won't be able to repeat it or anything.
One thing to keep in mind with, like, yes, it's a game, but it's a game on the blockchain, so everything requires smart contracts and interactions. So a lot of times keeping things open indefinitely poses a lot of challenges as we introduce new things. So that's why a lot of times you'll see, very limited selection of rewards being limited to a time frame so that we don't need to account for those interactions with every contract we put out in the future. As far as the PvP tournaments go, I don't think we really have a finalized, mechanics on those yet. But if there's one thing that I feel confident counting on Hubert for, it is things being balanced.
Yeah, I will say that there's a lot of good progress being made on that. I can't say when that's going to be out, but we're working towards that, and it's one of the things I'm working on, putting a lot of focus on right now. So,
indeed. Do we have anything else?
I'm not seeing any more. So, yeah, thank you all for your questions and tuning in. I'm really excited to see what comes of this. This is our first foray into doing a burning event like this. So, however it goes, we'll be looking at the end result and, taking some lessons learned from it. And, if it seems like it was a successful event, we may do something similar to this in the future for future expansions. And like I mentioned earlier on, we are also thinking about other potential burn mechanics that we could have in the game. But like I said, anytime there's going to be burning involved, we'll make sure that all the information about it is upfront and that you get a lot of warnings before you are allowed to do the transaction, just to make sure that, we don't want people mistakenly doing something they didn't want to do. But once you've done it, it's there's no going back. So really make sure that you are comfortable with your choices. We won't be able to reverse anything once it's done. So
one last question for you, Hubert. Sorry, I just got pinged with one. The The special land tournaments, do we know at this time, are we going to have those accessed by the marker on the hero, or will it be a ticket that could potentially be sold? Do we have a decision on that?
It's going to be a marker on the hero that you can't remove. So it has to be a hero that has survived Perilous Journey.
Okay, so for those asking in the chat, it would be that hero that competes in the PvP tournament for the land. Cool. Well, that's all I got. I appreciate everybody being here. I appreciate all of y'all tuning in. We are going to make this video live momentarily once we close out the stream, so it'll be here for reference. All of the docs that we went over are already live at docs.defikingdoms.com. You have the attunement crystals and enhancement stones page under the heroes. Perilous Journey is its own marker, so you can feel free to reference back to this information. Keep in mind, you don't have to do the math on every one of your heroes. The interface is going to show you their survival odds when you go to sign up for Perilous Journey, so you can pull it up and see each one of your heroes' survival odds before you commit them to the journey. I don't know if it will show the potential rewards. I can find out about that. I think that's a really good point, so I'll pass that on to our UI team and see if that's something that we might be able to facilitate there as well. Aside from
I think
that,
we are going to do that. Sorry to cut you off.
oh,
But
even better.
Our intent is to show everything up front, the rewards and the chance.
Never mind. Problem solved. I'm not going to pass it on because they already thought about it, and that's why they're smarter than me. The survival odds, the rewards, everything's going to be presented right there when you sign up, or when you load up to see if you want to sign up even. So it's going to be very non-committal. It's something that we take very seriously, especially when we talk about, burning NFTs. We want people to have all of the information and know exactly what they're signing up for. One thing that I did want to note real quick also is I'm going to be posting a FAQ, or not an FAQ doc, that's the wrong one. I'm going to be posting a document in Discord, and we'll tweet it out as well here in, I don't know, give me 30 minutes, for questions specifically about Perilous Journey. So we have our normal questions document. I'm going to do one just for Perilous Journey. If you have any questions or anything about it, put them in there. We'll see if we can get them answered. Depending on kind of the response level to it, we may actually do a live AMA, but I'm thinking it'll probably just be responding in that document and turning it into kind of a living FAQ document. So keep an eye out for that as well. If you still have questions, we want to give as much information as we can, and we really appreciate everybody being here and tuning in with us, and keep an ear out for more details on Crystal Vale itself.
All right, thanks, guys.